Okay, in the last video, we looked at a bunch of different lorem ipsums. In this one, I'm going to be using the startup ipsum to fill in some text for a p tag. So let's go back to the example.html and just the p, the letter p, and paste it in there. Let's see what that looks like. I updated this a little bit. I took out the title. I changed the h1 to paragraph. All right, let's see what that looks like. And you get a nice paragraph here. Okay, let's go. Let's make another one. P, paste, save. I'm quick saving by holding Control and pressing S, just in case you're wondering. You need to save your file before the changes will take place. Let's copy a bunch of text. I'm not sure what these, if these actual, like these all here, it looks like paragraphs, but I think if you just copy all like that, HTML has this thing that I think it's known as white space collapsing, where if you, here, I'll show you an example of what that is. I think this is just going to do it automatically, actually. So, okay, I don't like that. Okay, here, let's see what this looks like. So it's like all one paragraph, although here you've seen that this is actually all separate paragraphs. So what that is, as I was explaining, there's something in HTML that's known as white space collapsing. I'll actually show a better version of what that is. So here you've already seen what paragraphs do. That's one big paragraph because it's all in one p tag. If you somewhere here, like let's say you did this, just move that and you ended it here. I'm going to start another p tag here. I'm going to end it here. So that's going to separate that ginormous paragraph into two slightly smaller paragraphs. Okay, it's actually one normal size paragraph followed by another big one. Anyways, let's delete all this, and I'll explain what white space collapsing is, because it's a pretty important concept in HTML. So, here's another thing that you should know. If you just have a p tag, it actually doesn't need to be in a p tag. You could do this anywhere. But if you just write lorem and then press tab, it automatically creates some dummy text for you of the original lorem ipsum. So not the startup ipsum, just traditional Latin lorem ipsum. Okay, so let's see what happens if you just make a bunch of extra spaces here. Translate, good luck. So nothing happened. And what that is that in HTML, only the first space gets counted. So if you just like have something like this, obviously this text is going to get squeezed together. That first word, it's going to get squeezed together. If you put a space, then the space will work. It'll obviously put a space between your text because you need spaces between your text, between your words. But once you start, if you make another one, it's only going to count as one. It keeps asking me to translate. I don't like that. So there it is, one space. And also, if you do something like this, so this text is completely unreadable, right? It's completely terrible. I just messed it up. But if you look at HTML, still looks pretty good. All those spaces and all those line drops didn't do anything, and that's because what I've explained, I think HTML explains it as white space collapsing, just in case you're wondering what the name of that is. So this is some pretty, let's just delete that. So you can go back here. I'm just going to refresh this. I'm not sure if the default lorem ipsum text is always the same. Let's see, is it? Doesn't really matter, right? It's just dummy text. But yeah, usually when you're making websites, you don't want all the paragraphs to look the exact same. So there's still a good reason to use something like this, or I kind of like the travel one too. That's pretty cool. because the lorem ipsum is Latin, and it, to me, speaking English, I can't even read words of that. At least with this one, I can. It does, at least for like the first word, it looks like actual English.